My name is AJ. Welcome to the Galaxy, and today we are back with another episode of Galaxy Gauge. Galaxy Gauge is a series in which I give my opinion on a movie, TV show, or video game, and then I express all my thoughts on it and all the downsides, all the positives, and at the end of the video, we give it a scale on the Galaxy Gauge 1 through 10. Today's video is going to be on Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. I went and watched this last night, Friday night, in IMAX. $20 tickets, shit was expensive. But, Black Panther is one of my favorite superheroes. And that whole movie in him as a character is just one of my favorites in the MCU. So, of course, had to go all out for it. And some things, happen in this movie. This is a spoiler review, so if you haven't watched the movie, I would go watch that and come back to this video. But overall, I did enjoy this movie. Some things that I want to talk about are, let's first start off with Shuri. Shuri was amazing as the lead role. I think she did a very good job what she was handed with. Taking on, a lead role when a sudden unsuspected death of an actor happens is not something that you're gonna be prepared for and something that you can prepare yourself for. That is a very tough challenge that I feel like Shuri or Letitia Wright did an amazing job stepping up to the plate for, because that is a tough loss. Not even just talking about acting, as a person, Chadwick Boseman, like, that is just so unfortunate. And in this entire movie, you can see how it affected the entire cast, not just the characters, because if you don't know, the movie is all about basically the mourning of Chadwick Boseman, or T'Challa, in the movie. And that is hard to do. You can see the way they portray themselves in the movie, the way everything comes off. You can tell that it definitely affected them losing a cast member like that. And as it would anyone, when you spend that much time with someone, and when you, even a coworker, like, regardless, I know there were probably much more than just coworkers, but when you spend that much time with someone, like, that is tough. And having to go back to work and just deliver in which they did, that is just bravo to them. The mother, Queen Ramonda, she did a wonderful job too. I was very, very indifferent about her death in this movie. I don't know if they thought it was necessary to kill her in the movie to progress the story. I just felt it was distasteful, to say the least, because I feel personally that she was the only reason Wakanda was still standing on any leg at all. T'Challa had passed, and a year goes on, and she, explains how she had to take control of a mourning kingdom for a year. She was explaining that to Shuri, and that is just wow. When she died, I looked over because I watched it with my brother, my best friend, my sister-in-law, and my fucking wife, and I'm just looking over at my brother, and I'm just like, no fucking way they just did that. And I was stuck because I felt like it was at such a weird point in the movie. Like, you felt like they had lost all hope, but you didn't think they were gonna go that far. You're like, oh, that's the route they're taking. And I was just, man, when I walked out of the movie theater, I walked out with like okay, they did justice by this movie. Like, it was a great movie, great way to send off Chadwick. It just a great appreciation to him. And I was talking to my brother outside of it and telling him how, like, some things were bad and some things, but overall it was a great movie. And I still think it was a great movie. But I've had some time, to just think about it. And I'm just like, some of the things, I don't know. I really enjoyed the movie. I really did. Time length of the movie, it was very, very long. I didn't catch myself falling asleep, but If someone did, I completely understand. But some things could be cut out, some things can be left in. The movie is what the movie is. I want to talk about Namor for a little bit. Namor, I loved as a villain. I know some people didn't like his character design, wanted a bit more source material. I preferred what he was in the movie. I preferred them going with the Mayan Aztec, upbringing of Namor and his civilization. I thought that was really cool. I thought his story was really cool. His motive, I understand, like not wanting to associate with the open world, or I forgot what they were referring it to, but the world above, whatever the fuck they were calling it. But yeah, the way he was going about it was just wanting to wage war on Wakanda because they didn't want to help destroy all other nations. That was kind of wild. I know that in the comics, that Namor is a part of the Illuminati that was consisted of like Black Bolt, Iron Man, Reed Richards. It was him and Professor X and some other people. There's different variations of the Illuminati in the comics, but that means he had to be some sort of level-headed to be in the Illuminati, correct? I just don't know how they're going to incorporate him back into the MCU because like he's in a hidden civilization. So like, how is that going to come about where he rises again and then everyone's going to find out about his civilization? I don't know. But I thought his action, the way they went about his action was so cool. The way he's like leaping out of the water and just flying and zipping around. He was so quick. And me and my brother were talking about this as well. This motherfucker has been alive since like the 17th century. When was he ever having battle experience? Like, there's no way he was fighting anyone. So, like, how was he just off rip like that? That was kind of weird. He was very confident about it too. Like, when he pulled up on Shuri and Queen Ramonda, he's like, "Yo, listen, y'all gonna help me? Bring me that scientist, or I'm gonna kill everyone up in here." Like, type shit. And how the fuck are you that confident, bruh? You ain't boxed no one. I don't really like how they didn't explain that. I'll double down on that with Shuri too. The only time we saw Shuri fighting prior to this movie was when she was final battle in the first Black Panther, when it was her and I believe Nakia, and they both had the blasters, or Nakia might have had the things that she used, the discs that she used, but she had the blasters. Shuri was using the blasters. Other than that, I never seen her fight. Like, I never seen her fight. And then all of a sudden she's hitting backflips. She's doing all type of shit. Maybe it was the herb, you know what I'm saying? But T'Challa, he was training his whole life to become the Black Panther and become king. Shuri was never training for that, to my knowledge. She was always like the technologically savvy one, and you know what I'm saying? But she out here near the end of the movie doing some crazy shit, and I'm like, they could have thrown in some clips of her, fighting, training. Nope, none of that. And so I'm just like, ugh. And that is a major part of the reason I wanted M'Baku to take the Black Panther. I wanted him to become the Black Panther. I was advocating that since before, when Black Panther 2 was up in the air after Chadwick passed. I'm like, M'Baku has to be Black Panther. Like, there's no other person, in my opinion. And in this movie, they kind of tease it, like, near the end. Like, and that's what pissed me off, too. Near the end, they're like, I'm sorry, I'm splitting off. I'm going off on tangents. Near the end, he shows up to, the ending ritual. Like, they're going to crown Queen Shuri. But then he's like, Princess Shuri has not showed up. I want to challenge for the throne. And I'm like, who? What? And then I'm like, okay, they're going to expand on it. No, they just leave it off like that. What? I've watched a bunch of reviews on the movie so far, and I have not seen anyone bring up that point. Like, M'Baku just fucking shows up. I want to challenge for the throne. And then that was it. Nothing. Like, I'm like, is he gonna become king and then Shuri's the Black Panther? Like, I know they did that when T'Chaka was old, he was the king still, but Prince T'Challa was the Black Panther. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. They didn't really expand on that. I didn't like that about the movie. I really like this movie, but there's some loose ends that they didn't tie up, and I'm just like, ugh. I think M'Baku's way more fit to be king or leader of Wakanda than Shuri. I know comics Shuri does become the Black Panther, but she's young. She's not very battle experiencend. You can see she went on the road to vengeance instead of level-headedness, which M'Baku, as you know, crazy as he is level-headed, and he was saying that in the end. It's not about her being a woman, because if Okoye was fucking Black Panther, I would be all for that too. She could have been Black Panther for sure, or even Nakia. Like, battle experience, they know what they're doing, they know how to lead. I don't know, Shuri. Like, I love Shuri, she's great, but man, I don't know. And when you know she takes the herb or whatever, and then like they show her as the Black Panther, she drops down to where because they had navigated from the capital to M'Baku's area, and she drops down on them. And when she dropped down, I'm like, oh, that's a really nice suit. But I wasn't like, whoa, like that's the Black Panther. Like, you know, it didn't feel like that. And I don't want to blame Shuri for that, because you know we're used to Chadwick, and we're used to just him being so feared, and just like that's the Black Panther. And I don't know if it's just can't be replicated. But man, I was team don't recast T'Challa. I don't think recasting T'Challa was the right idea either. You know, I feel like Chadwick Boseman earned that role. So that should not be taken from him, regardless. That should not be taken from him at all. He earned that role, and no one can play it as good as him. But they could have shifted it in a different direction. I don't know how I feel about her being the Black Panther. The cameo of Michael B. Jordan, though, that shit threw me off. One thing about me is I will avoid spoilers by any means necessary. Like, it's not like most of the time I don't even watch trailers, because I don't want nothing spoiled for me. I want to walk in there with a brand new no expectations, just brain blank. I just want nothing but the movie to come to me. I didn't see a thing about Michael B. Jordan like coming in this movie. All I heard was like people saying, "Oh yeah, Michael B. Jordan is to be the new Black Panther." Like, and you obviously get that because everyone was saying that as well. And I'm like, nah. When she went to the ancestral plane and she saw my boy Killmonger, I'm like, that was one of like the most like perfectly placed cameos of all time for MCU. Like, you know, they be throwing cameos in just to throw cameos, and no, that was like precisely placed. That was so good. And his whole speech, I'm just like, dog, he is still spitting. Man, Killmonger, bro. I thought for a second Killmonger was gonna be like, you don't want to do it? Fuck that. So, and then he was gonna jump back alive type shit, and he was gonna be king again. That would have been fucking fire too. Holy shit. Like, that would have been crazy. Man, Killmonger. Wow. Like, that was like peak. That was great. Riri Williams, she was cool. I don't know. She was alright. Like, I feel like they gotta expand more on her. Right now, she just seems so basic, generic. I didn't care too much for her. Okoye, Nakia, and Queen Ramonda just nailed it. And Shuri nailed it too, but it's just what they did with her character I didn't like too much. The Road of Vengeance, I get it, but it's like, fuck. And then fucking Namor, or Namor, whatever you want to call him, he's painting him killing the Black Panther. And it's like, what? I thought we were supposed to be allies. But obviously he's a leader. He's arrogant, but he is a leader, and he's a ruler of, you know what I'm saying, his civilization, so he got to protect what's his, you know what I'm saying? And now they know of they're aware of his existence, and they've seen his city, so they're a threat in their eyes. And yeah, I hope they expand on Namor a little bit more, and I want him to have his own movie. That'd be kind of cool, or maybe a TV show or something. I don't know. I hope Riri Williams, she gets more fleshed out as well. I don't think this movie really did her justice. The suits were cool. I for one, I kind of liked the first suit was like, but the second suit was pretty cool. I enjoyed it. It's not too much like Iron Man, and I know people were like making fun of it in the trailers as well, but it didn't offend me that much. I did like the comedic timing in this movie though. Like M'Baku was like the funniest person in here. Riri had some funny moments too. But when M'Baku is like, "You bald-headed demon," that shit had the whole fucking theater just laughing so hard. He's so fucking great. And then the end credit scene, can't forget about that. T'Challa has a fucking son. That's crazy. T'Challa has a son, and he's 6 years old. Cause the blip, and then it fast forward a year from T'Challa's death. So he's a 6-year-old son that Nakia was hiding in Haiti, and I'm like, damn, that was kind of a recasting a little bit. Appease the fans that wanted the recast. But yeah, I doubt we'll see him in any combats anytime soon because he's fucking 6 years old. But I mean, we got a new Black Panther. That's the way they can recast. That's kind of crazy that they threw that in there, because then they're gonna have to. He's probably gonna be part of the new Avengers as well. But they already kind of skipped some time a little bit. So if they keep skipping time, they're gonna have to, explain all of that in future movies too, because they continuously keep skipping time, and it's like, okay, it's gonna catch up to you. But maybe the Quantum Realm, Ant-Man Quantumania, I think that's the next movie coming. Maybe that'll, clear some things up. But yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say about the movie. I enjoyed it. It was a little too long, and some things that they did, could have been done better, I will say. Plugging this into the Galaxy gauge, I will give it a cool 7 out of 10 Galaxies. It's not a bad movie by any stretch of the imagination. Please go watch it when you get the chance. Just wasn't. It wasn't Black Panther 2, if that makes any sense. I definitely enjoyed Black Panther 1 more, and if you're not into Black Panther and the Black Panther story, I would say miss out on this movie, because that is what this is basically about. That's pretty much it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.